Okay, so whenever you see the term data sufficiency, so here this means the given data sufficiency means sufficient or not. So in this concept, we are going to find out the given data is sufficient or not. So simply, we are going to find the data is sufficient or not, and we are not going to find the answers for the question. And be clear here, two things are the most important things. One is answer for the question, and one more thing is option for the question. Okay, so most of the cases when it is a problem solving question or when it is a multiple choice question kind of a thing, answer and options are the same, because options are representing answers only. So if it is a multiple choice question, for example, if your answer for the question is 6, so you are just checking 6 is there in which of the options, either 6 is there in C, or 6 is there in A, or 6 is there in B. So you will just check whether this is there in which of the options, and you will simply go with that. But now here, answer and options are completely different. Okay, so be clear. After finding the answer, you may not find the correct option. Sometimes, without knowing the answer, you can still find the correct option for the question. So that is purely about your logical thinking. That's purely about your logical thinking. That's what I can say. Okay, now, so come to the first slide. So the very basic model we have actually two models. The basic model, we have above two statements are given, above one question is given, and below two statements are given. Now we have to find out the data in which statement is alone to sufficient to get the answer. Now let's see what the first model indicates. In each of the questions below consist of a question and two statements numbered 1 and 2 given below it. Okay. Now I'll show you the questions. The questions will be like this. So there is a question above, okay, and there is a question, and below there are two statements will be given like that. Okay. Now what we are going to find out. See, option A. This is very clear, guys. So option A, I'm talking about option and answer very clearly. So don't get confused. Answer for the question is different in data sufficiency, and option for the question is also different. So these two are two different things. Okay, don't be confused and don't make it combined both. Those two are completely different. Okay, now, so when you pick option A is the answer, and whenever you are solving data sufficiency question, your options must be A, B, C, D, E. Now, how do we pick A, B, C, D, E are the answers? Now I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain. Now listen here. If the data in statement 1 alone sufficient to answer the question, while the data in statement 2 alone is not sufficient to answer the question. So be clear, when you pick option A is your option. Okay, when you pick A is your option, you are saying that the data in statement 1 alone is sufficient and the data in statement 2 alone is not sufficient. So by picking one option, you are telling two things. First one is the data in statement 1 alone sufficient, and the second point is the data in statement 2 alone is not sufficient. So which means, so if you take 1 and 2 statements like this, when you pick A as the option, which means 1 is alone sufficient, 2 is not sufficient. Now when you pick option B is your option, so which means the data in statement 2 alone sufficient to answer the question, and the data in statement 1 alone not sufficient to answer the question. Which means when you pick B as your option, you are telling two things again, which is 1 alone is not sufficient, 2 alone is sufficient. So by picking one option, you are telling two things here. By picking one option, you are telling two things. See, most of the cases, the students do like this. The mistake students do in the examination is by checking the data in statement 1 alone, they'll decide the option. But don't do the mistake. You have to check the data in both the statements. Okay. So after checking the both statements, then only you have to decide, because there is a definite confusion you will get it when you're solving the question. So be clear. Don't decide your option by checking only one statement. You have to decide your option by checking two statements. Okay. Now, if option C is your answer, which it means if the data in statement 1 alone sufficient, and the data in statement 2 alone sufficient, which means, so if I'm taking 1 and 2 like this, what C indicates? C indicates 1 alone sufficient, 2 alone sufficient. But the thing here you need to concentrate is A and C are similar to each other. A and C are similar to each other. So option A and option C indicates 1 alone sufficient. Now, without checking second option, I mean, without checking the data in statement 2, how do you decide? We cannot decide because in both options, 1 is alone sufficient. Now, when you check the second statement, if the second statement is not sufficient, then you have to go with the answer as C. If the second statement, if the second statement is not sufficient, then you have to go with option A. If the second statement is also sufficient to get the answer, then you have to go with C. So be clear, the similarity between A and C is the data in statement 1 alone is sufficient. The difference in A and C is the data in statement 2 alone not sufficient in A, 2 alone sufficient in C. That is only the different thing. Okay, so statement 2 only the different thing. Now option D is your option when if the data in both the statement 1 alone not sufficient, 2 alone not sufficient, when you combine the two, it is not sufficient to get the answer. That is D. E means if the data in statement 1 alone not sufficient, 2 alone not sufficient, and together also together needed required to option for the question. So here 1 alone not sufficient, 2 alone not sufficient. When you combine the two, also not sufficient. That is D. Now when E 1 alone not sufficient, 2 alone not sufficient. When you combine the two, then it is sufficient. So option D and E are look similar but not same. Okay. So when you pick D, which means 1 alone not sufficient, 2 alone not sufficient, and combine also it is not sufficient. E means 1 alone not sufficient, 2 alone not sufficient. When you combine the two, then it will be sufficient to get the answer. Okay. So be clear, guys. So any confusions in this, just have a look. Just have a look on the screen and read it. Option A means what, B means what. Just read the statements, then you can easily understand. Okay. So I wrote everything very clear here. Okay. To get, to make you clarified. So I think by reading these statements, you won't get any confusion because I made it everything clear here. Okay, now I am moving to the second slide. So this is something like a wordy data. The first slide is something like a wordy data, and the second slide is representing the same thing I represented here in a table. So whichever is comfortable, you just go with it. Either a table is sufficient, you just remember this, or if you comfortable with a wordy data, then it is fine. Okay. So what you understand with the wordy data, just cross verify is that the same is there in the tables or anything else. Now let's see. So option A, which means statement 1. So this is talking about statement 1 and this is talking about statement 2. So when you pick option A, 1 alone sufficient, 2 alone not sufficient. Option B, 1 alone not sufficient, 2 alone sufficient. Option C, 1 alone sufficient, 2 alone sufficient. Option D, 1 alone not sufficient, 2 alone not sufficient. Option E, 1 alone not sufficient, 2 alone not sufficient. Now when you observe these two are the same. So again we have one more table for this D and E. So which means statement 1 alone not sufficient, 2 alone not sufficient, combining will not sufficient. Combining will not sufficient. And option E means 1 alone not sufficient, that is as same as this. 2 alone not sufficient, that is as same as this. But combining will be sufficient. Okay. So and one more thing, most of you combined when the data in statement alone sufficient. See, option C indicates 1 alone sufficient and 2 alone sufficient. If 1 alone and 2 alone are sufficient, then no need to combine the data in statements. No need to combine the data in statements when the data in statements are already sufficient. When the data in statements are alone not sufficient, then you have to combine. Okay, be clear, guys. So shall I move to the questions? So next we'll jump into the questions only. So as of now, is there any confusions? Please let me know, or else I'll move to the questions. Okay, no confusions. Very good. Please give me the confirmation, guys. Yeah, clear? Okay, fine. Now I am going to the questions. Yeah. Now tell me the option for the question. Be clear, I am asking about the options. I am asking about the options. So that's why I am asking you, is there any doubts in options? So you have to tell me the options now, and don't tell that I am just confused with the options. Don't tell me that. Now you have to pick the option. The statement question is given followed by statement. Now, so observe the first statement. Now let's write the options here. So the options are A, B, C, D, E. So these are the options. A, B, C, D, E are the options, and finally our intention to pick the correct option. First, when you read the statement, Kapil mothers, and first read the question. On which date Kapil was born? That's a question. Now, when it comes to the statement, Kapil's mother remembers that Kapil was born before 19th and after 15th. Before 19th and after 15th means, after 15th means it can be 16, it can be 17, it can be 18. And before 19 means we can't write 19. Now here we can't consider 19 and we can't consider 15 as the answer. So answer must be either 16 or 17 or 18. So the data in statement 1 alone is not sufficient. The data in statement 1 alone is not sufficient. Now just refer the options. When the data in statement 1 alone not sufficient, then which of the options we can eliminate? See, the first option A says alone 1 is sufficient, but here alone 1 is not sufficient. And option C says 1 alone sufficient. Now as of now, 1 alone not sufficient. So as of now, 1 alone not sufficient. So I am eliminating A and I am eliminating C. So I should not get A and I should not get C because the data in statement 1 alone is not sufficient. Kapil may born either 16 or 17 or 18. Okay. Now, so one more important tip, when you are solving the first statement, think that there is no second statement. Think that there is no other statement. Think about only the one statement which you are trying initially. So I'm trying the first statement. First statement says 16, 17, 18. Okay. Now don't carry forward this to the second statement. Don't carry forward these three things, and whatever the data comes from the statement 1, don't carry to the second statement initially. Don't carry to the second statement initially. Now, when you're solving the second statement, think that there is no first statement. Now, as of now, you didn't read any statements. You are solving the second statement freshly. Now, I'm trying this one. Kapil's brother remembers that Kapil was born before 17 and after 12. So before 17, after 12 means it can be 13, or it can be 14, or it can be 15, or it can be 16. So we should not consider 17 and we should not consider 12 as well. Now, what about the second statement says? Second statement says Kapil may born in 13, Kapil may born in 14, 15, or 16. Again, there is no clarity about the answer for the question. The data in statement 2 alone not sufficient. So if 2 alone not sufficient, I can also eliminate B as the answer. So as of now, A, B, C are eliminated. Now option must be either D or E. Now how do we decide? When we want to pick the option either D or E, now you have to combine. So if you combine these two, what must be the date of birth of a Kapil? If both the statements are true, if the Kapil mother said this one and Kapil brother said that he was born maybe between 12 and 17. So if both the statements are true, obviously Kapil was born in 16. Kapil was born in 16. So answer for the question is 16. Now what about the option for the question? What about the option for the question? Both the statements are necessary. So option for the question is E. Clear, guys? Option for the question is E. So D is eliminated. We can find the answer by checking two statements. So option is E. E, guys, it is not D. Check it. Again check it. D, E difference is, if you combining still not sufficient, that is D. If you combine it is sufficient, that is E. So am I clear, guys? Why I'm explaining this much? Because in a further questions you may get definitely confused. So that's why I'm explaining this much for the first question. So am I clear? Shall I move to the next question? Understood? Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Now I'm moving to the next question. Now be clear, guys. Be clear. Sorry. Try this. Madan is elder than Kamal. Read it slowly. Madan is elder than Kamal and Sharad is younger than Aravind. So this is the common data which we have to use for both the statements separately. So be clear, this is the common data which is given above the statements. Okay. So first I am taking the initial statement, which is Madan is elder than Kamal. Now I'm going to pick a linear representation like this. So elder means I'm going to write at the top, younger means I'm going to write at the bottom. So Madan is elder than Kamal. So Madan is elder than Kamal. So this is the way I'm going to represent. So Madan I wrote above the Kamal, which means Madan has a highest or elder. Okay, in age wise he is the highest. Now this is the first one. Second, Sharad is younger than Aravind. So Sharad is younger than Aravind. So these are the two things I mean I can understand with the above statement. So Madan is elder than Kamal and Sharad is younger than Aravind. So there is no common point here to make it combine. So who among them is the youngest? That is the question. Now this you need to consider for the first one and you need to consider this for the second one also, the same thing. Now Sharad is younger than Madan. Now if Sharad is younger than Madan, I'm taking the first one. If Sharad is younger than Madan, and we already know that Kamal is younger than, sorry, Madan is elder than Kamal. If Madan is elder than Kamal, Kamal may be between Sharad and Madan, or Kamal may be below the Sharad. Okay. Now, what about Aravind? Aravind may be above than A. Aravind may be in between Madan and Sharad. So I'm getting two arrangements here, which is A, M, K, S. This is one arrangement I can get it, and A, M, S, K. This is also I can get it. Okay, and I can also get it M, A, K, S. Something like this. Okay, so I can also get like this. Sharad is younger than Madan. It says. So I'm getting two or three arrangements here. Now, in which case? So here it is asking about youngest. So in the first case, Sharad is the youngest. In the second case, Kamal is the youngest. I can also get one more thing, that is MASK. And here also Kamal is the youngest. So few cases Sharad is the youngest and few cases Kamal is the youngest. So we cannot decide from the first option. So the data in statement 1 alone is not sufficient. So in A, B, C, D, E, so in A, B, C, D, E, one alone not sufficient. If one alone not sufficient, which options we can eliminate? We can eliminate A and we can eliminate C also, where one alone is not sufficient. Now, second one I am trying. So don't think about this again. Don't think about this. Now we need to consider this. So this says Madan is elder than Kamal and Aravind is elder than Sharad. Okay, now second one I am trying. So this is the common data I am taking. Now the second statement says Aravind is younger than Kamal. If Aravind is younger than Kamal, Aravind comes here, and if Aravind comes here, the second statement, the data, second part of the data says Sharad is younger than Aravind. So Sharad is younger than Aravind. See, I got only one arrangement with the second data. With the second statement data, I get only one arrangement where the complete things are satisfied. So Madan is elder than Kamal. Yes, Madan is elder than Kamal. Sharad is younger than Aravind. Yes, Sharad is younger than Aravind. Now the data in statement 2 says Aravind is younger than Kamal. If Aravind is younger than Kamal, obviously S comes below than A. And from the first statement, the data above data says that K is below than A. So only one arrangement we get from the second data, and that says that Sharad is the youngest. Okay. So answer for the question. So who is the youngest? Sharad is the youngest. Okay. Now what is the option for the question? The option for the question is B, because B alone sufficient to get the answer. B alone sufficient to get the answer for the question. That's why the option is B. So any confusions in this? Am I clear, guys? Am I clear, guys? Yes. Thank you so much. So answer for the question is Sharad. Option for the question is B. Okay. Now I move to the next question. Read the question. How P is related to Q. So I already told you in my blood relation class, whenever you want to know any relation between the two persons, we have to know the gender of the first person. Okay, we have to know the gender of the first person. After knowing the gender of the first person, then only you can say. So if the first person is a male, then answer must be a male relation. If the first person may be a female, the answer must be a female relation. Now, instead of P, if you can assume Ajay here, so how is Ajay related to Q? So as Ajay is a male, Ajay can be a brother, Ajay can be a father, Ajay can be a son, Ajay can be a grandfather, Ajay can be an uncle. But as Ajay is a male, so Ajay can't be a sister, Ajay can't be a grandmother, Ajay can't be a mother, something like that. Okay. So whenever you confuse, just imagine yourself in the question. That gives you more clarity on the data. Now I am going to try with the first statement and write the options here: A, B, C, D, and the E. Okay. Now the first option the first statement I'm trying, the data in statement 1, mother of P. Okay, how do you write mother of P? So P is here and we don't know the gender of P. And what about P's mother gender? P's mother gender is female. That's very clear. P's mother gender is female. Mother of P is the daughter of R. Mother of P is the daughter of R. This is the first statement says. Mother of P is the daughter of R. So here it is P. This is P's mother and P's mother is the daughter of R. Now if you want to say how is P related to Q, directly you can eliminate. There is no Q in the first statement and moreover we don't know the gender of P. So one alone is not sufficient. If one alone is not sufficient, A eliminated and C eliminated. Now, whenever you're trying the data in statement 2, think that there is no first statement. Okay. Now, R is the sister of Q. The second statement says R is the sister of Q. If R is the sister of Q, there is no P in the second statement. So, alone 2 is not sufficient. So, alone 2 is not sufficient. Now, which means the option must be either D or E. Now, if you combine these two, what will get? So here we have R. Now if you are getting P's mother is here and P is here. So if you combine these two, I am getting this data. Now from this data, can you tell me the answer for the question? How is P related to Q? Can anybody tell me how is P related to Q from the data? Now answer for the question is can't be determined. It's not grandmother, can't be determined. So answer for the question is can't be determined because we don't know the gender of P. If P is plus, then you can say the answer is grandson.